Well, you are watching TRT World. Let's take you straight to Geneva, where the Special Envoy for Syria, Staffan de Mistura, is holding a press conference. He's discussing the situation in eastern Aleppo. Let's take a listen.
8th of February are many, and some of them are obviously linked on the fact that we will have also a new Secretary General by then firmly in hand and therefore be able to launch his own initiatives. B, there are some interesting, important initiatives that are being planned in January, including what we heard about the Astana meeting. We feel that all those initiatives are useful to us in order to be able then to have a common approach, which is the only one under 2254, the UN one. We will be therefore proceeding along those lines, believing that we can actually capitalize on any type of initiative that may take place between now and the 8th of February 2017. The bottom line remains now humanitarian access, humanitarian aid to those who are being in need, not only in Aleppo, elsewhere as well. Cessation of hostilities, otherwise, between now and when finally we will be getting the political process moving forward, many others may be killed, and the momentum on the political process. That's the plan, and that's where we are at the moment. Thank you. We will have questions, but now the floor to Jan Egeland, and then we will be open for questions. Please, Jan.
Thank you, Staffan. A very large, dangerous, difficult, and complex evacuation is going into its final phase today, namely from eastern Aleppo and from the two villages, Fou and Kefraya. This morning, we reckon some 35,000 people will have left East Aleppo in more than 200, well over 200 buses. It was 750 cars and trucks that had left through the Ramosa gate, where the UN is observing. It will probably be more than 1,000 cars and trucks altogether. These are cars that have flat tires, not fuel, that are full of people. It's very complex. I'd like to thank really the Syrian Red Crescent, the ICRC, the UN team at place going and shift through the days and the nights as all of the Red Cross and Red Crescent colleagues did, who organized very much of the evacuation from East Aleppo. I'd also like to thank the 32 non-governmental organizations that worked also with the UN in Idlib and in rural Aleppo, where tens of thousands of people now from East Aleppo join hundreds and hundreds of thousands internally displaced already. It's a race against the clock and against the winter to provide shelter, warmth, and relief to people who are sick, exhausted, malnourished from 5 years of war. We need more presence in all of the areas that had war and where there still is a lot of tension. Presence means protection. And that's the whole purpose of the Security Council resolution. Monitoring will lead to protection. It's at the moment a limited but important UN contingent of 31 international national staff dedicated to monitoring, in addition to the 90 to 100 people from the UN in Aleppo that are there for the very large assistant operation. More people are on the way, and we have requested full and unimpeded access to all areas in eastern Aleppo. We are accessing parts of eastern Aleppo. We also need the remaining parts, including this area that has been the last enclave held by the armed opposition groups. Now, to get this protection, we need all of these permits that are so slow to get now from the Syrian government, from the governor's office, from all of these institutions in Syria that are slow to give us the access we need. We would also have liked to be part of, we will also want to be part of all of negotiations that take place that have humanitarian implications. We would have wanted to be part of the agreement that we had influence on, so that we could have been there from the beginning, and that also goes for ICRC and the others. But all in all, this was an operation, the largest that I know of, that took place, and I think it saved a lot of lives. And I think it means that the end of the battle proved to be less cruel than it could have been. Finally, there are 15 besieged areas beyond East Aleppo. And it hasn't gotten better in these areas because all eyes were on Aleppo. Only one convoy so far in December to Khan Eshia, the Palestinian village southwest of Damascus. 6,000 people got finally relief there. But all of the other places have not yet gotten relief in December. November was also a very bad month. We worked at one point this year to reduce these 7 steps, bureaucratic steps we need to go through, down to 2 steps to be able to reach areas. It's now back to 10 steps. So 2017 needs to be a year where the bureaucrats and armed men and security forces stop prevented humanitarians from reaching the exhausted, hungry, worn down civilians in this cruel war. We're ready to do our job. Let us get access, let us have presence, and thereby protection among the civilians.
Thank you, Jan. Yes? Please.
Well, we've been listening there to Jan Eggeland from the United Nations talking about the evacuation of eastern Aleppo, saying that at least 35,000 people will have left eastern Aleppo by car and by bus by tomorrow, saying that it was still a very complex, difficult and large evacuation, moving people from eastern Aleppo out to rebel-held areas, and then moving regime-held territory people from Fua and Kafraya across into eastern Aleppo, saying that he was pleased by the complex but dangerous evacuation, that it's gone as well as it could do and has hopefully brought an end to the cruel battle that was taking place.
Has there been any